What's going on YouTube? It's Gottigix back with another video, and today we're going to be installing yet again another Gen 3 Hayabusa Fender on the bike. This time we got a black plastic one, so not the nice carbon fiber that we had before, but that one it broke off because I think our mounting was too close, which we're going to use the same brackets today because that's all I got. But I might end up re-drilling the brackets so it sits a little higher. But this is pretty much how to install a Hayabusa Fender on an S1K or really any other bike. Today we'll be using the Gen 3. First things first though, you will need a bracket, which me and my buddy made this bracket here. Basically sits kind of like that. It'll replace these two bolts on these holes that aren't there, and the new holes for the Hayabusa Fender will mount in this one and this one down here, so it will remount it there. We've got it in carbon. We kind of made them, so that's pretty cool. Like I said, we got to re-drill the holes so it looks a little bit better, and we'll be replacing this this stock fender here. Now the Gen 3 Hayabusa Fender, I think it's the same with the Gen 2. You have this extra tail that's right here, you see it? That extra tail part will not fit on the S1K. You have to actually chop it off. So what you have to do, so we'll just set it on the ground here. You have to come across here and cut straight across. And I did the same thing with the carbon one, because with a gsxr you have an extra bolt back here which you can bolt to. This one you can't. So this one you've got to cut, because you can see that there's no fender, and it's going to look kind of like the stock one where it's got like a little fin back here, which is fine because the main bolts that are securing it will be right here. So I guess first things first, let me get that cut so I can show you what it's supposed to look like before we put it on the bike. Alrighty, so now that we've cut it, like I said, you just go straight across, cut it just like that. This is the pretty much finished product. That's how it should look. Just take a little Dremel and cut it. That's all you need there. So we'll set that there for a minute. Let's go ahead and remove the stock fender. That way we can put on the brackets. I'll do that real quick. Okay, so these are the brackets installed. This is how they look. You have these here, that bolt here, and then now the fender is gonna mount here. That way we get the proper gap here. And it's the same thing on this side. Now you can buy a leaf Hayabusa Fender brackets. I didn't want to spend the money on it, so I made my own to mount here. The leaf one will give you a bunch of different options to position it a certain way, that way it fits on everything, and it'll just clamp around here. You can do that, and then but it would still be the same process for the Hayabusa Fender. You still got to cut it before you put it on. It just will mount a little bit better because you can adjust, right? The way I made these are just kind of, you know, they fit one way, and that's the only way they'll fit on. But they look cool, carbon fiber brackets and everything. So I'll show you how these go put on. Alrighty, so we got the Hayabusa Fender on. We had to do a little bit more trimming in the backside because I didn't take into account that the carbon fender was going to bolt up a little bit differently than this this ABS plastic one, but it pretty much bolted the same. I was able to get 3 out of the 4 bolts. The top bolt on this side is just a little bit too short, so I gotta get a longer one just so I can make that fit. But it does look good, and it is mounted on there. But whenever you do your bike, you might just have to adjust your mounting holes, that way it fits for your bike. So like for example, we've got my buddy Carlos's bike over here, and we put the same Gen 3 Hayabusa Fender on his, but you can see that back here he still has his tailpiece, because gsxrs have a bolt back here as well, so you can put the 2 bolts and still work. So if you have a gsxr, you can use the top bolt here. Some people zip tie this bottom one, or they make another bracket so they can bolt down here, and then we just put a bolt or a zip tie back here, and then it'll bolt. It's very sturdy, it's not going nowhere. Same thing on this side, even though it's only got 3 of the bolts, it is still very sturdy. I am gonna go get a longer bolt though, that way that can fit, because I don't want to risk this one going away. But I was taking it kind of easy. You'll just have to trim, if you have a K46 S1000, you have to trim a little bit more a little bit more on this top part. That way it doesn't hit the tire, because what it is it's hitting the tire back here. Maybe I can get it to show. It's barely touching like right back there, but it's just enough that it'll clearance itself out a little bit. But that's pretty much how you put the Busa fender on the S1000 or really any other bike. So that's all you got to do. But let me know what you guys think. You guys like the Gen 3? These are both Gen 3 Busa fenders. This one and that one, they're both Gen 3s. Let us know what you think. You like the Gen 3? You don't like any Busa fender at all? You like Gen 2? But yeah, I think it's a pretty cheap and cool way to get a little bit more aerodynamics out of the bike. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, share, interact in some way, shape, or form. And until next time, bye.